Hey guys, D.Bowie here, and these are the things that I learned with Arteezy's Timbersaw at TI6. The first thing we're going to talk about is laning. One of the strengths of Timbersaw at TI6 is how flexible his laning is. There are very few matchups that are bad against him, and in this game, he will definitely be able to take the Alchemist mid. But Terrorblade is a way better matchup against the Alchemist, because not only he can pressure the Alch way better, but Alch is a hero they want to shut down way more than the Void. After the skirmish in Radiant's jungle, Arteezy notices that the Void is getting the creeps for himself.
Because you know you want to keep sacrifice, but can they line up the shot? The arrow flies. Oh, he sidesteps it right there at the last second.
And everyone gives up immediately.
And usually, it doesn't hurt the Timber's HP to last hit under the tower, but he would have to choose to get Whirling Death to don't miss the last hits, or Reactive Armor, avoid taking damage, but risking missing a lot of the last hits, since his base damage is terrible at level 1. Because of that, he drags the creep wave to one of the camps to not only get more experience and gold than the Void, but to also not be forced to waste regen early. And then, he drags the remaining creeps to the other light creep, getting even more experience. When he finally gets back to the lane, check how he plays everything. With level 2 reactive armor and stout shield, the Void hits him like a noodle, so Arteezy focuses a lot in right-clicking the Void. The trade is always on his favor, and this is why Timber is so good against almost every melee hero matchup. And as his reactive armor levels progresses, he gets more and more annoying to deal with. So check how most of the time he ignores the lane creeps until they are very close to dying, because if he gets into a last hit battle against the Void, the Timber will lose for sure. But there's a limit to how much harass the Void can dodge with Time Walk, especially because he is low level and because the right click instances are so far apart and low in damage that the Void doesn't want to use Time Walk, because then the Timber can burst him with his skill set. A minor thing I want to mention here is that most of Timbersaw's skill set is pure damage. Whirling Death is pure damage if you cut trees at the same time, and Timber Chain always deals pure damage, which allows him to get a catapult and damage the Void at the same time here. Another thing I want to point out, and that a lot of carry players sometimes forget, is that when they are winning a lane, most of the time they don't care about how the enemy offlaner is doing. Against Faceless Void, it's very important for you to succeed in the lane to make him spend as much mana as possible. Even after the mana cost changes in Faceless Void, there's a limit to how much he can stay in the lane with mana for a Chronosphere, and enough HP at the same time to try to kill you. To Arteezy, the mana to farm is way less valuable than the ability to nullify Void's chances to kill him with a rotation from Elder Titan, for instance. With most carriers, what you usually want to do at this stage of the game is shove your creeps in the enemy tower and farm the jungle. But even though Timber can farm jungle creeps, it costs him a deceptively high amount of mana to farm them at this stage of the game. And when he is back to the lane, he might even get killed for not having enough mana to run. So in this case, he prefers to let his lane creeps instead of spam the wave in the Void's tower, because that gives him the time to deny some of the farm of the Void, while Arteezy maintain more mana, so he is able to contest the Void in tower when he is less hitting. Timbersaw is a way better killer than he is a farmer at this stage of the game. Instead of spending 1/4 of his mana to farm a large camp, he uses his mana to hinder the Void's farm, and that's something he is way better at doing. Also, don't forget that he started all that with a lot of mana on his pool. A lot of players use their mana all the time in the laning phase, only to go aggressive and die right after, because they didn't have enough mana for everything. Also, when he uses mana in the lane to harass the Void, he always tries to last hit at the same time. But most of the time, even when he already has Arcanes and level 7, he last hits it with his right clicks, and to ensure he will get most of the last hits, it's completely worth it to get a Quelling Blade on Timbersaw. Another item he acquires, and that makes a lot of sense this game, is the Raindrops. Faceless Void Bash deals magic damage, so they are very good to deal against them, and at the same time the mana regen is very good on Timbersaw early on. And again, check how Timber avoids diving the Void, since he knows that with his current levels of Timber Chain, it's a very hard kill, but he makes sure to make him spend his mana, deny his farm, while getting less hits as well. When he does spend his mana, check how he avoids using Whirling Death or Chakram to kill this stack. Level 2 Timber Chain deals 140 pure damage for 70 mana, while level 1 Whirling Death deals 100 for 70 and Chakram 100 damage for 100 mana. so unless he's trying to kill an enemy, he tries to spend the least amount of mana for damage possible. Eventually, the Void is forced to leave the lane, not because he was feeling especially threatened, but because he wanted to do something with his chrono, and considering Arteezy's amazing laning stage, he was a very hard kill to get. And this is a win in itself, because it made the Faceless Void lose a lot of time and made the rotation more predictable. Check this clip. The Elder Titan is TPing and he almost combos him perfectly.
Facts. I think it's all coming down to whether Lifesteal is able to walk in and kill stuff with his right click as well. Level 3 rage. He hit pretty hard.
Oh, top lane. Kuro TP's up there. Arteezy tries to jump at him a bit.
Had him thrown the Chakram a little bit earlier, the Elder Titan would have taken so much damage that he could definitely chase him later. But had the Timbersaw thrown the Chakram first, there's a very big chance that the Elder Titan would have cancelled his TP. There's another reason for him to throw the Chakram after the combo, and that's because the Chakram slows the target for every 5% of HP he's missing, which means that if he deals a lot of damage first and then throws the Chakram, he will definitely have enough time and setup for his skills to cool down and for him to get the kill. On the other hand, when the Ogre offers him the setup and there is no way for the Elder Titan to dodge the Chakram, he doesn't mind throwing it first and then using his other skills to finish Kuroki. With the wave clear of Arteezy, combined with the pushing power of Envy, they take the tower very fast.
To this tower.
It will not be a very long greeting because in that form, being that big, I mean Bloodlust 2, look at that thing.
Bloodlust, Ice Armor.
Looks like it belongs in World of Warcraft. It's ridiculous. It's huge.
He is quite massive.
When Envy rotates to the jungle, check how he mostly uses the Timber Chain to farm the creeps, because as I said, it's the most cost-effective damage to mana spell he has, and he doesn't have enough mana regen to just spend his skills freely. A teamfight starts in the mid lane, but unfortunately, since Arteezy didn't have a TP on him, it takes him too much time to reach the location and get kills. And check Arteezy's play here. Very impressive. The Elder Titan wants to scare the Lich with his stomp, and Envy times his Timber Chain perfectly to avoid the stomp and reach him. And he does the same thing, throws the Timber Chain followed by the Chakram to slow the Elder Titan, and even though he misses the spot by a little bit, he quickly takes the Elder Titan with another Timber Chain that not only nails Kuroki, but it's placed in a very far location, making it very hard for Liquid to keep chasing him. He retreats to defend the tower, and now that he is low mana, we see him only using Timber Chain to farm the lane.
That will be just fine. That is in fact a 5-stack on the Dire Ancients, so there's a lot of money to clear out.
Something interesting that happens here, and that I'm not entirely sure of why Arteezy does it like that, is he could have kept farming and sent the courier to get what he needed to finish the Bloodstone. Or if he really wanted to TP back to heal, he could have reached the secret shop faster by going with Timber Chain. I think that they wanted to use the Bloodstone as fast as possible, so if he just kept farming, they would lose part of their very powerful 13-minute Bloodstone power spike. Especially because right after making the item, they immediately smoke. And probably because by sending the courier hidden, it's less likely for Liquid to see that he has Bloodstone or worse. If they had vision, he could be ganked while disassembling everything. Hey guys, this is it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, I want you guys to know that this video wouldn't be possible at all without the huge support from the Pugna guys. So if you enjoyed this video, show them some love and check this entire replay breakdown in their website.